Tonight's video is probably a subject some of you may have been wondering about if you've ever parted out a car or thought about it, or maybe you just had an extra set of wheels and tires handy. So a lot of times people tend to want to sell things like wheels and tires, especially newer, larger ones, on Craigslist or local, and they end up taking real low offers on them just to get rid of them because they think they're not going to be able to ship them or it's going to be super difficult. Well, this is a quick video on how that we ship wheels and tires we sell on eBay. Obviously, anything super big, you definitely going to have to consider freight. But a lot of cars, maybe if it's a little older and you're parting it out, like an old 90s Japanese supercar, maybe you have 14s, 15s, 16s, you could ship all those. Usually you'll ship 2 wheels per box. That way it ends up making kind of a nice square package. That's what we're going to be able to do in this video. And right here, we're going to be showing you the wheels being shipped from this box to right here. Has a nice set of 17, so pretty decent size set. And I believe the total shipping cost on these is going to be a little bit under $100. So it's still not cheap. You got to get a little something for them. But when you're selling them on eBay or online, you can get a lot more money because whoever is interested in that set of wheels may be looking for the exact set you have. Even if you have some that are damaged. Maybe somebody really needs 1 or 2 of them, and maybe they have the ability to repair them. So right now, that's what we're going to show you how to do, is box up some wheels and tires you may have sold. This is a optional wheel that was available on certain model Boxster 986 models. I've got a whole set. Here's just one without anything on it. This is a front wheel. You've got a rear wheel right here. These are some of the tires that came off of it. Right here, we've got a wheel that's kind of in situ on getting packed up. So the most important thing with wheels is to make sure that you pick a packing material that's a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier duty. As you can see from the open box photos, this is that tubular bubble wrap. It's typically used for blinds like you get from Lowe's or Home Depot. And what we're doing is just making sure that it covers the entire diameter of the wheel. So, excuse me, I guess circumference. So we've got the edges covered. These edges are the most vulnerable, and also, especially on this front edge right here, this is the thing you want to be the most careful with. Wheels are right on the size of item that you typically have a few more issues shipping. The reason why is because the boxes get bigger, they're just a little bit harder to handle. You're typically going to be using FedEx or UPS as opposed to USPS, so the items get manhandled just a little bit more. So with wheels, you definitely want to make sure you use medium bubble, maybe something tubular you can find like this. There's all sorts of options you can find online or possibly even at your local hardware store. But the most important thing, this is not the thing you want to skimp on with packing material. If you're unsure, just add a little bit extra. Me personally, I like making sure that everybody's happy when they get their wheels. Obviously with wheels, if you're selling a set of 4, it's the most important to spend a little extra time and money to make sure they're packed right. Because all it takes is one bad wheel to ruin the whole buying experience for the buyer. Or your buddy you might be sending them to. Just remember, you need 4 that match. So especially if it's a rare, hard to find set of wheels, maybe something JDM, maybe just like this, a rare factory option, you want to be especially careful because one wheel is all it takes to be damaged. Obviously you can't protect the wheels from everything because you will have issues shipping eventually no matter how well you pack it up. You just want to do your best to make it obvious to whoever receives the parts that you did your best. So back to this particular wheel, what we're going to do in this case is just kind of piece some sections together. Again, this is a little bit larger than you usually ship, so you could just, if you have smaller sections like this, just tape them together. The key is to make sure they overlap a little bit. You just want to make sure that entire circumference of the wheel is covered with whatever packing material it is you can. Now, you're going to use a lot of tape in these kind of situations, just the way it is. Anything bigger is always going to get a lot of tape. So if you're looking for tape and you're planning on parting out cars or maybe just shipping a lot of automobiles one way or the other, I highly recommend buying tape in bulk online. Eventually I'll post a link to where I do it from. You can probably just look on the dispenser and see where it's from, but I like making sure I have a lot because the last thing you want to do is be making a late night run to Home Depot. So when you're doing this with regular medium bubble wrap, This is about how you do it, just to give you an idea. The most important thing, like I already mentioned, is this edge here. So what you want to do is just make sure that those are the most protected. I like this medium bubble wrap, but if you've got the smaller stuff, you're just going to need to go over it a lot. So go ahead and go to your local hardware store, wherever you pick it up, if you don't keep some in stock, and just get a bunch. Because it's way easier to pack it right the first time than end up having to deal with a shipping claim, an angry customer, a buddy that's upset you didn't pack his wheels right, no matter what the exact situation is. So again, you want to make sure this is kind of doubled up, where it's going to fold over the inside just like this. I just happen to have a perfect size piece. You might too, or you might need to cut it with your knife. So go bend this up, make sure it's around the edge. Just now that you've got it taped up right here, make sure it overlaps like so. Pull it down, cover the barrel a little bit, and then make sure you fold it over like this. And then after that, we've already got the front face done, as you can see. So we're going to go all the way around and just bring it across. Center this bubble so it doesn't move during shipping. Again, I really can't stress this enough. This is one of those things, especially where you just want to make sure it's done right the first time. You don't have a shipping claim or somebody upset because you could have packed it better and you didn't. Again, it's way easier to do an extra half an hour now. So as you can see right here, you don't really need to worry about the inside of the wheel. Nothing during shipping is going to protrude down into the center, out into the inside of the barrel and cause an issue. And by the time it does that, your insurance is already paying out. So this one right here is pretty much ready to go. Now what I like to do when I actually put this in the box is put an extra layer. If this section right here was sitting against the other wheel, an extra layer of cardboard just to make sure. This bubble wrap's pretty sturdy, and this is going on a really well-packed wheel on the underside, so I'm not going to do an extra layer. You can also do an extra layer as well, just to make sure. But thanks for watching. Like I said, rims look like this before they go out. You shouldn't have any issues at all with shipping your wheels. The finished product right before we close up our box. This, what I used was a large tubular bubble wrap. As you can see, it's a little bit different than the usual that you're going to see. This is a little bit thicker. The casing doesn't break as easy. You can see I've got a nice good push on it. It's not going to break. So the reason why I did this with the wheels is that they're a little bit heavier, and the box, as you can see, we'll just put it in perspective here, it's a little bit larger. As you can see, this isn't really a standard box that we had to use for these. We had to use something a little bit bigger. So you got to get creative with some of this larger stuff, but just got some tubular bubble wrap. Make sure everything's nice and secure. If you look down in the box, we've got some foam reinforcement on the corners here, just to make sure nothing gets damaged in shipping. We've got this on the other side, and you can't see down, oh, well, I guess you can. You can see it down there. We've got a little bit more foam just protecting the corners. Now, obviously, we're going to finish boxing this up, but both wheels are individually encased in this green bubble wrap, just like this. Alright, so when all's said and done, here's just a basic box. As you can see, it's rather square shape we use for the wheels. In this one, this is a little bit smaller. There are two 17 by 8 front wheels, I believe it is. You can see right here, got a 20 by 20 by 20. Now, this size right here is most definitely easy to ship, cheap, etc. You're probably talking 40 pounds. Definitely UPS, FedEx, cheap to ship, continental United States. You might get in a little trouble international. Super easy.